Hi, welcome to another edition of the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Cal Anderson, a local activist and your host. I have another local activist and somebody who's actually no stranger to service, both public and private, in Lynn. I want to welcome to the show John O'Brien. He's current Registrar of Deeds at the Salem office. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here.
Well, that's your current job, but you have some history in Lynn as well, serving us in other ways. Want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I was a city councilor elected in 1971, believe it or not. I was 19 when I ran, so I was the youngest city councilor I've elected in the history of Lynn.
I've heard that lore.
That's true. I ran at the time with Pasquale Pat Caggiano. It was a big upheaval in Lynn, and it was quite a political time. And then in 1976, I became the Registrar of Deeds for Southern Essex County, which is comprised of 30 cities and towns.
I've been to the office in Salem, and what have you done on your watch? I mean, you must have taken it over at a time when it was in a state of flux. We were going into the computer age, et cetera. So what have you done in your watch?
We came back, when I took over, was the days of pens and pencils. And yes, we've computerized. We were the first registry in the United States to go online 24 hours a day with images so people could see. We've won Computer World Smithsonian Awards. We've won 5 national awards. I hate to brag, but in 2000, I was named the Registrar of Deeds for the United States of America. So it's been quite a tremendous opportunity for me, and I'm very proud, but it's not me, it's the team at the Registry of Deeds. They're the ones who work every day and do it.
This designation you got, has that been sort of selected by your peers?
Yes.
The other registrars around the nation?
That's correct.
Right.
Yes.
And what do? You get together like any other bodies? You get together once or twice a year?
Yeah, they have a national association. The funny thing is I've never attended a meeting, and when I won, I wasn't there. I never thought I was going to be on it by them.
You must be one of these folks that is just quietly efficient, and your reputation precedes you.
No, thank you very much.
Right. I understand you've done some other things beyond what is usually expected of a Registrar of Deeds. Now, I remember when I was buying my property, I went up to your office, and I was looking at several properties, but before I wanted to bid on them or purchase them, I wanted to look at the covenants. I wanted to look at the floor plans. I wanted to look at the history of the condo associations. And I want to say, single out Mrs. Doherty on your staff was exemplary. She brought me around, never felt like I was being rushed, and you just told me you have a sign on the entrance?
We're the only government agency, I think, in the United States of America that when you walk into the Salem Registry of Deeds, there's a huge sign that says, "How may we help you?" And we do just that. Customer service is vitally important to me and to the staff, and we have second to none. I like to tell people we offer old-fashioned customer service where you actually get to talk to someone and they actually help you. And they're polite, they're knowledgeable, and it's been an extraordinary time over there because there isn't a week go by when I don't receive letters, emails, telephone calls praising not only Nancy but the entire staff.
Well, I like to look at it as you should clone what you're doing and make it the example for other offices of every sort in our country. Well, I'm just telling you, that's how impressed I was with it.
Thank you very much.
Not only that, but it's a repurposed building. It's in one of the old pier buildings right down on the wharf.
It is. We pay the cheapest rent of any registry in the state. We have free parking, which I want to stress again. We have free parking. In downtown Salem, there's no parking, but we have it. There was an attempt to try to move me back to the old courthouse. I've been fighting it tooth and nail. It's going to cost $50 million. Waste of money. And we'd be back in a building with no parking. And I believe that people should have the right to be able to come into their business, do their business, and do it efficiently, economically, and quickly. So we're fighting to stay at Shetland Park. We're over in Shetland Park, 40 Congress Street. which
It's
is
an old repurposed maritime building.
It used to be, the funny thing is, when I was in high school, I worked in that building in the basement. I was 16 and I had a summer job there. It was the old SCM Shetland, people may remember it. And they made sweeper vacs. And then it was, he converted the building into rental space, and we're in the old Sears Credit Union, Credit Bureau.
So another thing that you do that isn't really expected of other registrars is you have a registry for citizens who have some fallow, or I'd say abandoned but still owned properties that are foreclosed but becoming a blight on the neighborhood. What have you done to make that easier?
What we do is we let people, they can call us, they can email us, whatever they want, tell us the address of a property, and we will immediately tell them who owns that property. And more than likely it's an abandoned building owned by a bank, a big bank, not a local bank, but the big boys from Wall Street. And we will alert them immediately as to who owns it. And then we send to the, like for example in the city of Lynn, we send the building department, the police department, and the fire department every evening any building that's gone into foreclosure, so that they're aware of it and they can hold those people accountable so that the buildings don't become drug dens and rack and ruin and destroy neighborhoods.
Yeah, I know that's important in our city. And it's good to be able to have somebody accountable. I mean, just taking care of the weeds and the rats, et cetera.
Exactly.
But it's good to have a source so you can just go and find it like on a registry. So I understand you're known nationally for taking on the banks. Now, about 10 years ago, there was the big mortgage crisis or foreclosure crisis. And there was a little bit of foreclosure crisis going on, but a lot of it became self-inflicted by the banks. You want to go into detail about that a little bit?
Very quickly, it started from a constituent of mine in the city, in the great city of Lynn that I grew up in and still live in. She came to us with a story. We investigated it, and we became the first registry in the country to basically blow the whistle on the big banks in Wall Street, robo-signers, what they were doing.
So what were they doing?
They created a company called MEARS, Mortgage Electronic Registration
And is this
System.
a blown-up samples of what
This
you're talking
is a, for example, these are robo-signers. This is a woman by the name of Christine Baldwin. You can see the variations, but if you go to the next chart, this is the most telling one. This is the famous Linda Green, who was focused on 60 Minutes and everywhere else in the country. You can see all the variations. They had
Linda
people.
Green has a very distinct but varied signature, doesn't she?
Well, these are all fraudulent. We have 39,000 documents sitting on my conference table in the office that are all fraudulent, and there is
I think
many,
we
many
have
more.
a photo of that because you couldn't possibly bring them with you.
No.
So I think we're about to run that photo of you standing there. And is that a genuine look of exasperation on your face?
Well, it is, because I leave it there. We call the registry in Salem the crime scene, and it's a museum of fraud, and we invite everybody to come over and take a look at it, because this is what the big banks in Wall Street did to people's chains of title. And I could talk about this issue for 4 days. We were the only registry in the country that stopped recording robo-signers. And very quickly what we did is we said to the banks, we're not recording your fraud anymore. And if you tell me that that's Linda Green's real signature, then I developed an affidavit, and all they had to do was sign it and authenticate to the authenticity of that signature. And Calvin, not one bank signed it.
You know, if they look up, this guy's got guts in the dictionary, they might find your picture there.
Thank
I just
you very
want to congratulate you on that. You're an inspiration for bureaucrats who just don't follow the beaten path, and that's the way we've always done it. You're exemplary in how you're doing things, and thank you for being on our show. Now, we're about wrapping up.
Okay.
I know we could talk forever on this, but I'm going to let you bring us home.
Okay.
Thanks for being on the show, John O'Brien, and hope you come back again next year.
I would love to. Until next time, in every way and every day, keep loving the city of Lynn, and believe me, I love Lynn. I never forgot where I came from. I grew up in Lynn, and I still live in Lynn. It's the best city in the world.